The Oregon Ducks lead the nation, Trevor, scoring over 50 points per game. It looked like, though, they were in trouble the last time they were out. California, a good team at home, holding the Ducks to 15 points in this contest. And the whole time you're like, we're waiting. You're waiting for the Ducks to turn things around. Their next two games, though, they have Arizona and Oregon State. Now, when you take a look at the film, how will these two teams plan the attack, stopping this offense with the Ducks, considering they looked unstoppable before this Cal game?
Well, what Cal did was attack Oregon's main strategy. Oregon doesn't try to beat you by running complex, fancy plays. They beat you by running simple plays at such a rapid pace that your guys can't keep up mentally. It falls into their trap if defensive coaches try to have brilliant defensive schemes to outcoach Oregon's coaches. Well, what Cal did was simplify. And really, you can see this process when you look at pairs of consecutive plays. Against USC, this play, they stuff. But 12 seconds later, Oregon will run the very next play. And this time, two Oregon receivers will be wide open for touchdowns. Because in the 12 seconds between the last play and this one, USC's defenders didn't have time to process their assignments. Now, Cal wasn't in that trap. Look at these two pass plays. They're in aggressive, simple man coverage. And the first play, they stop. 20 seconds later, they line up again in the same simple, aggressive man coverage. Now, bottom of the screen. Oregon tries to attack the same spot that they scored the touchdown against USC. But it's a lot harder to complete when everybody's in the same spot. And it's easier to be in the same spot when the schemes are simple. Same with the run. This front is what Cal lined up in most of the game. They just attack straight forward into their man, into their gap. That's the first play. 22 seconds later, they run the next play. And Cal is ready for them because they're in the same exact lineup. They attack straight ahead once again into their gaps. Nobody misses an assignment. And because they don't miss an assignment, they don't allow Oregon to bust those fast guys out into the open field for those 60 and 80-yard touchdowns. Now, the lesson for Arizona and then the following week for Oregon State is don't try to out-scheme Oregon. You might succeed in the classroom, but your guys have to process it on the field, and that's where Oregon will beat you. Simplify, and then if your kids are good enough, they'll be in position to make plays.
The top-ranked Oregon Ducks remain undefeated. They're 10-0. However, that was quite a scare they got from Cal. Between watching Oregon and TCU, I thought the top five's about to implode. Right. They didn't, but still just one touchdown. What did Cal expose? What weaknesses are there for others to take advantage of?
Well, it's all over, Chris. You know, Oregon can't play offense anymore, and it's done. But seriously, if you look back, which I did, I went back and watched this entire tape, and there were some things to take from it, and give Cal a lot of credit. Clancy Pendergrass, the defensive coordinator, did a great job of coming up with a game plan, and his players executed it. Three things that really stood out to me. First of all, they spied the quarterback at all times. Second of all, man-to-man coverage. And third, 5 defensive backs in the field, on the field at least at the same time. Now here you're going to see number 17, Chris Conte, spying the quarterback 8 yards off the ball, though, not into the box where he can get into traffic. Defensive end reads inside, so Darren Thomas, the quarterback's going to keep it to the outside, and then Conte comes up and makes the tackle, cuts him off before he can get outside. Conte had a huge game as the spy, 8 to 10 yards off the ball. Now, in the passing game, one thing I love that they did, they split up the responsibility versus LaMichael James at running back. If he comes to my side as an inside linebacker, I've got him, and then you go rush the quarterback. So they took half the field. That allowed them to cover up LaMichael James and also get pressure on Darren Thomas in the passing game. Now, Oregon didn't just sit back and take it. They tried to do some different things. Crossing routes, also unintentional, I put in quotation, picks, as you see there. On this play, quarterback Darren Thomas just didn't see the open receiver in time. They also ran some screens that were effective in this game. It's something else they'll continue to do. You watch the guy who's most important, Jeff Mayles, the cover corner. They were able to get out and get a block on him. Then the 2 offensive linemen, one's going to go on the other cornerback, and then the other's going to go out and get on Chris Conte, the spy. So there were some different things that Oregon made in terms of adjustments that helped them in this game, but they just didn't execute consistently like they usually do. They fumbled the ball at times. Darren Thomas played the worst game of his career, and I expect them to bounce back. And after 1 week of watching this tape and understanding what teams are going to try to do, Arizona, Oregon State in the final, they'll play better. But this was certainly a tremendous blueprint for teams to follow. It's just a matter of executing now that Oregon knows what teams are going to try to do.
Well done on the telestration,
That was a lot
especially
of
with that
stuff.
sound effect. That's crazy.